Majority Whip of the House of Representatives, John Edwards.
Hi.
Being here today.
Pleasure having you.
So my first question is just, what is it that made you want to become a politician and get into politics?
It wasn't something I really thought about doing. I was on the Tiverton Zoning Board for about 10 years. And I thought about possibly going to the town council, and someone said, well, why run for town council when you could run for state rep and it's more interesting. So I ran for state rep and lost the primary, and then I ran for town council. And then the person who actually had the seat at the time said, hey, I'm not going to run, would you like to run? So I ran for the seat and won.
Not too many people are well informed with certain House positions. As the majority whip, what are your usual duties? What do you do as a majority whip?
Yeah, not many people know what the whip is. My job is to win the votes on the floor for the items that we bring as a majority to the floor. Make sure we have enough votes to win those votes. My job is also to keep our members informed of legislation coming up, basically on the calendar. So when a bill comes to the floor, I have to know the count, where it's going to be, whether we're going to win or not, and what we need to do to win.
Now, a big decision came out earlier this week with the Supreme Court with sports betting, and I believe there's already bills coming out with that.
Yes.
Here in the House. What are your thoughts on all this? What do you think the General Assembly should do with the sports betting?
Well, it's going to be everywhere. Actually, if we go for it now, if we institute it now as a state, we'll actually be ahead of our neighbors, Connecticut and Massachusetts, because we actually started gearing up for it to implement it at our two gaming facilities, one in Lincoln, the other one which on the verge of being completed at Tiverton. So Rhode Island actually could be ahead of the curve. It's going to happen. People are betting on sports, so the state might as well make some money.
Now, with everything that's going on, what do you think that how this is going to work with the casinos and how the people have been doing this illegally with like outside? Do you think they're going to be able to stop doing that and go to these casinos and get money to the state with tax? What do you think they're going to continue to do what they've been doing?
I think there'll probably be a mix. I know the average people will probably just go to the casinos because it's free. It's free for them. They can just go and do it. And it's legal. And it's in a well-lit area, and not be some guy at a bar or in a back alley to place a bet. So it's a right up front area. So I would think more people will probably eventually just do it legally.
You know, something else that's been coming out is the Secretary of State, Nellie Rhode, she has a plan with the voting, with the technology that is used to vote. She has a literally $3 million plan on what to do with that. What are your thoughts on what she's trying to do and what you think should be done?
We're doing the early voting?
Yeah, there was, I was talking to Lance a couple days about it. It was to update when they go to the polls.
Update the voting lists?
Yeah, that's what
okay.
we talked about.
That is something that's desperately needed. I canvass every time I run for election. So I get the voting records from my district, and I go through them, and I'm continually finding old names and addresses of people who are deceased, people who have moved away. So, I mean, our voting records desperately need to be cleaned up. We have people who shouldn't be voting in our districts because they live in Rhode Island. I have people I know live outside of my town, they're voting in my town because they choose to, and it's very hard to challenge them. So in order to clean up a voting list, that would be a major step in the right direction.
Now, another issue that's going on, not particularly in your district, but it may impact you in a way. In my city of Kentucky, they are trying to pass a bill to ban it from the gas stations and stores by being able to sell flavored tobacco, e-cigarettes, and things like that. And when I was at the meeting, they said that one of the arguments was that it should be left up to the state to determine whether or not stores can sell that, because if we were cities that do, if Kentucky executes that law, then North Providence, Lincoln will still be able to make money and people will go over there instead. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think the city should take charge in something of this nature, or leave it to the cities?
I think that the state should take charge. We have 39 cities and towns, and if we leave it to the cities, we'll have 39 different variations on the law. I think the state should supersede everyone, and we should have a single state law that deals with it.
Now, would this have to, would you have to change anything that take the city's power away from you?
We're just, right now, I'm sure it's some sort of enabling legislation that allows Kentucky to do it, or any town to do it. What we would just do is take away the enabling legislation and mandate, here's the new legislation going into the state.
Now, you're a member of the finance group, right?
Yes.
Now, I'm looking at the committee agenda for tomorrow. There are two bills that caught my eye, and one of them is relating, it's called enact relating to highways, and the details are that it will exempt veterans and active duty military from paying a toll on the Newport Bridge. And I wanted to know if I could take your thoughts on that. What do you, is it a yay or a nay? Work?
Personally, I think it's a great idea. I think our veterans should be exempted from that. Realistically and logistically, I have spoken to the director of the Turnpike Bridge Authority several times on this particular issue, especially when we have military vehicles. And we shouldn't have those cars have to pay the toll. The problem is logistically, there's no way for them to exempt it. We have an exemption, actually have a lower rate for Rhode Island drivers. They use around pass, and we have a rate for everyone else. In order for us to exempt them, we just created a huge hullabaloo with the Easy Pass system. Right now, if you are a fire engine or an ambulance, if you cross the bridge, they are still have to pay the toll. So everyone pays the toll.
And you just mentioned the ambulances, do you think that maybe they should be included in the bill too?
You're creating what they call like a whole different class. And it's very difficult for Easy Pass system, from my understanding, to do that. I would agree that fire engines and ambulances, especially when they're providing mutual aid to the neighboring town, like if Jamestown needed something and Newport came over, or vice versa, I think they should pass free, but they don't.
Now, another bill that came up in the agenda tomorrow is called enact relating to taxation, personal income tax, and it states it will increase the Rhode Island earned income rate from 15% to 15.5%. Do you think what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it will make much of a difference?
Well, I'm not sure how much of a difference it will make, but for the earned income tax, that earned income tax credit you're referring to?
Yes,
Yes. That's something that really affects what I would call the working poor. And everything we can do to help that group is something, it is a step in the right direction for us as a state. We're here as a government to help those who need our help and to control government. But we're really here to make sure that our citizens are taken care of. I mean, one of my jobs as a representative is to make sure that my constituents have their issues dealt with. If they call me with an issue, it's my job to make sure that their issues put forward are taken care of. That, for me, is my foremost job in the state. It supersedes whip or anything else I do. That's my number one position as far as I'm concerned, is to work with my constituents and to work hard for them to make sure that their issues and problems are solved. This earned income tax credit is another issue, something we as representatives should do to help those who need our help the most.
Another issue that has been affecting Rhode Islanders heavily as of late has been the entire issue with UDA. And
Yes.
everything that's been.
I sit on House Oversight as well. I'm on House Oversight.
All right. And I want to know if I could get your thoughts on UDA. What do you think should have been done differently, and what do you think is done now to try to fix things?
Well, it's always easy to go back and say, if they had done it this way, it would have turned out. But if they had listened to the federal government who said the system wasn't ready to roll out, I think if they had really listened, I think they would have avoided the major problem they had. That said, they didn't. They proceeded with the rollout. They didn't get any initial, any idea that they were going to have a major problem going downstream, but they did. So here we are. We have a major problem. If I were king for a day, I would take all the resources of that department and put it towards working on fixing and making sure the people who have applications in through SNAP benefits or nursing homes that haven't been paid or have their requisitions misconstrued. For all the people who need that money, we have all these either outstanding or unattended applications. I would put the entire weight of that department behind correcting that immediately. And I wouldn't do anything else in that department until that happened. Because those people, again, here's another class of people. It's our elderly, it's our people who are the working poor. It's mothers, single mothers. It's a whole class of people who mostly need our help. And they have the least voice. So as a group, we need to.
Can I have all your copies?
We really need to take care of those people. We need to make sure they get that benefits there.
Something else that's kind of affecting the people, and a lot of people don't know what's going on, what's happening with this. It's been a problem for a couple of years now. Is the Kentucky Red Sox, and the entire trial that's been going on lately. The team could potentially move. They go to Worcester, and many people like myself be out of a job at the stadium.
Do you work at the stadium?
I work in the back of the cooks.
The vending?
Concessions. Yep. And a lot of hundreds of people put unemployed. And what do you think should be done with the Red Sox? Try to keep them here. What should we do? How much are you going to be able to try to keep the team here?
Well, this is an issue that's not very popular in my district. I have a number of people who have contacted me on this issue, and the majority of the people have been against putting any state funding in Kentucky, especially for the state, because they feel that the owners are rich and that they could afford to handle this themselves. That's what the media sort of projects across the board. Having been a state representative the last 10 years, we know that there's a deeper issue here. The issue really is that Pawtucket needs to bail out. Pawtucket, as a city, needs that help. When we had the toll on Stanford Bridge in my district, the rest of the representatives helped me get the toll off. So I have told my constituents that we need to do the same in Pawtucket. We need to restructure the deal in such a way that the taxpayers are not on the hook, and I think there's an option for that. I think there's an opportunity for us to achieve that. And if we do, I think we should proceed with the deal so that the Red Sox move to a new stadium, stay in Pawtucket, and that it becomes a center of revitalization for the city of Pawtucket. Because Pawtucket is a very large city, it's right on the border of Providence, right on the border of Massachusetts. A lot of our citizens live there, and it's something that we need to help them with at this time.
When I spoke to you a few weeks ago, you told me that you were in Israel, correct?
Yes, I was.
Can I ask, what were you doing in Israel? What's the purpose of your trip there? And also, how was it in Israel with all the protests that have been going on in that way? And what are your thoughts? Also, what are your thoughts on the mass murders that happened days ago on the border?
Well, I was in Israel as a guest of the American-Israeli Friendship League. They're a group that bring over various elected and government officials from the United States to show them what's really going on in Israel. And because what we see in the American press is the things that happen in the Gaza Strip. you see the rock throwing and the shooting back and forth, but you don't really see what's going on in the rest of the country. And it's a beautiful country. It's small, but it's about the size of New Hampshire, they say. Has 9 million people, I believe, and it's a very mixed population. You have about 20-25% of the population is actually Arab Israeli, and you have a group of people who they live together, and in Israel they live together in harmony. It's trying to come up with a two-state solution, trying to do something with the Gaza Strip, which is basically run by a terrorist organization, Hamas, and handling how to integrate that with the West Bank, which is actually controlled by the Palestinian leadership, or PLO, and it is controlled militarily by the state of Israel and Israeli police. So you have an area outside of Israel that is on the West Bank. It's the biggest area, which is under control. And the people there have to work. And then you have the area that's down in Gaza, which is where you see all the shootings and killings right now, where there's almost like 90% or 98% unemployment. It's run by a terrorist organization, and their whole and only aim is to bring down the legitimate government of Israel. So we were actually, if you saw some of the pictures they showed last week, they showed some pictures of the Israelis firing rockets into Syria. But where they were firing them from, a week ago, we had been standing in almost that exact location. Israel is it's a great country. They have a right to exist, as do all countries. I mean, the Palestinians have a right to a country of their own. The two countries need to come to terms. It's going to take a long time. I don't think it's going to be easy. The United States and numerous countries have tried to bring the two countries together. I think the Israelis want to give something. I don't think the Palestinians want to give anything. They want 100% of the demands, and that won't even see. As a legislator, I've always found that the best legislation you can bring forth is something when every single party who's involved with it is a little unhappy when they walk away. To come up with a two-state solution, I think Israelis are a little unhappy. I think the Palestinians are a little unhappy. I think all the Arab states around them have to be a little unhappy. That's the only way we're going to get a successful two-state solution.
So a compromise would be
Compromise. A good compromise. One that everyone gives something.
My next question has to do with someone that, in my opinion, doesn't compromise. One, I get your thoughts on the administration and the job performance of U.S. President Donald Trump.
I didn't vote for the president. I told my children, who were two of them are girls, they called me crying the day after the election, and I said, listen, if we could survive James Buchanan, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, and Richard Nixon, the Republic will survive this guy. I wonder sometimes whether it will survive. Because I think he has his own agenda. I don't think personally he ever expected to win. I don't think he takes the job as president seriously. I think he just thinks he's like the CEO of the country and not really the president. And he has all these other responsibilities, including good character. I mean, I didn't vote for George Bush, but I respected him. I respected the office. I respect the president's office. I don't respect the president.
And my last question went on hopefully a bit of a better note. With election season right around the corner, you're CUB up, everyone's CUB up. What do you plan to do?
I plan to run for re-election. I worked very hard for my district. I intend to continue working hard for my district. Yeah.
Do you have any aspirations beyond the state rep at any time? Maybe?
I probably did, but I have as the whip. actually have a pretty influential position. I can't get things passed, but I can mostly try to get those killed. That's one of the good things about it. I have a voice in the leadership meetings, so that's a very important thing for my district. And that's what we all do. It's really the folks in our district.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for doing this.
Thank you very much.